So I wanted to run through with y'all some of the tips and some of the stuff I'm doing in order to progress in the game, you know, without spending money, because as we all know, Com2uS games are a humongous money sink. The last thing you need to be doing is spending $1 million on a mobile game just to get the #1 slot, you know? So I want to teach you how I progress so far and so fast. And if you have tips for me, I have tips for you, we'll share it. I'll talk to you in the comments. Like, I used to do YouTube all the time. I'll talk to you. Like, we could just have a conversation. So the first thing, #1, I want to get into is if you go into these contracts, build a team, okay? This is the mistake I made, and I'll show you why I made this mistake. You see all the champions there? Let me show you my mercenaries. They're mercenaries in this game. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 9 or 10 guys that I'm building up, right? Let's be real. You only need 5 to start with. You want your core team that you're probably going to use. Like, of course, there's a best team for everything. There's a best team for arena. There's a best team for the virtual training. There's a best team for everything. But you want a generally good team that you can bring to almost anything, right? So you don't want to be, you know, #1 in, what is it, the underground refinery and last in arena. So you need to find a middle ground. And how I always spend my first day on new gacha games, you go into the mercenary list. Here you click contracts, and you have a list of every single mercenary in the game, capable for you to get, available for you to get or purchase with diamonds or anything. So the first thing I always do, I go through these guys, check their skills, all right? We're forming a team at this point. Like, you don't want to just pick random guys. Like, if you just want to have fun, then just pick a random guy you think is look cool and build them up great, and you're probably not going to get anywhere in the game. But if you're having fun with that, then that's how you have fun. I'm not here to tell you how to or how to not have fun. But if you want to progress in the game and make everything a little bit easier for you in the future, it's going to behoove you to go through these lists, look at everyone, check their base stats, and decide what you need. So I'll tell you, for example, for my team, I have, let me just pull up my team real quick so that you can see who I'm talking about in real time. For my team now that I'm using Amy, and I'm using her because this third skill is an AoE nuke stun, and I'll tell you how that plays in. I'm using Tala because her third skill is an AoE crit rate buff. So that's going to give everybody crit rate. So that's stats for 5 characters that I don't need to build. Say it gives 30% crit rate. That's 150% crit rate that I don't have to put in my equipment for my characters. So I thought that was a great addition to my team. Even if she didn't do anything else, that was wonderful, but she also has pretty nukeable single target capabilities and the ability to stop the enemy from moving. So I thought she would be a good addition to the team as well. Secondly, I'm using Josephine, and I want to get into this a little bit more in the future because this skill, Magnetic Bomb, grants protection effect to the allies by 35% of Josephine's total HP for 2 turns. Now, whenever you put her SSR card on, that skill, whenever you skill it up, it will get a bonus ability. You see how Nanoparticle recovers the HP of the selected ally except for you by 45%. But if you have her SS card and you do that, it gets an extra effect. Her extra effect is it's going to grant protection of Josephine's total HP as well. So the extra effect of Magnetic Bomb is actually going to be putting a speed buff on your entire team, which is going to make my entire team take more turns whenever I get that skill up. I put 2 into her already, and I seem to be getting everything except for that, but whenever I get that, it's going to help out. And if you can see the theme, I'm making a team consisting of units that benefit my whole team. Like, I don't want a unit that goes in there and is just like super nukey by himself, and he doesn't buff anybody, he doesn't debuff anybody, he does nothing but a lot of damage. And that's cool, but what happens if he gets stunned or if he dies? I just need the synergy of the team to be really well-rounded and nice. So she will give me the AoE protection as well as give me an AoE speed buff. Now this is another one of those situations. I just got NADINE today, but I already looked at her, and my plan for her, this chopping axe, is an AoE single target. Whenever you skill her up, whenever you get her SS SSR card and skill that up, it's going to be an AoE defense break. So we're already looking at an AoE defense break, AoE speed buff, and AoE stun and nuke at the same time. All right. And so then who's my last character? Of course, we also have the crit rate buff. And Bannon. I'm sure this guy is a little bit, self-explanatory. He has an AoE attack buff. So the consensus of the team is Josephine is going to boost everyone's attack speed so that they get first turn. Of course, then I want Nadine to go second or even third after, can't think. I need him to AoE attack buff the team after everyone's been sped up. I need her to give that AoE crit buff after everybody's been attack buffed. And then, of course, I need Nadine to do an AoE defense break, which puts my Amy in the perfect position to do an AoE nuke and an AoE stun at the same time. With everybody already set, I got all my defensive buffs, all my offensive buffs, all of my debuffs that I need on the enemy. And it's really great. They all work for each other. I'm not saying this is the best team out there. I'm saying all of this is a caveat to what you need to do whenever you first start this game is you need to go through this contract list. And you need to preferably have a little piece of paper unless you have like the memory of Eminem and you can just remember 2 million words in your head at a single time without writing anything down. Then go ahead and just go through them. Check their basic abilities. Your key colors that you're looking for is blue words because that means that they're going to supply a buff, or red words because it means it's going to supply a debuff. Because, I mean, honestly, do you really want a guy that just does nothing but sits there and does a damage? He sits there and hits a guy and knocks his head off, and then that's like all he does. To me, that just seems like a waste of a slot. So go through everybody, figure out the buffs, debuffs you want for your team, and try to just take key interest in certain characters, write them down, and then after you know which characters you're going to look at, do not, for the love of God, do not go in these reviews, for fuck's sake. You people putting these reviews are cancer. You are the absolute worst people to put reviews, and I will prove it to you right now. Let's go ahead and look at Tala's reviews. Very good early mid-game. Okay, let's find one that is what I'm talking about. Only because of that skin is she worth it, because she looks like Nidalee. Most of the people seem to agree with that. Crit buff is good. S tiers, like tier lists as well. There should not be a tier list for this game. This game has been out for like 5 days to the public. So any tier list out there, I would take it with a grain of salt. Unless the person has like played the beta for maybe 6 months and has, played all the characters to their maximum builds, then there should not be a tier list. I have no idea how these games come out and people just shit out a tier list. I guess it attracts views. I'm not here to lie to you. I'll put a tier list out there after I've played or seen every character fully built be played multiple times and I can identify every character's strength and weakness. I will put out a tier list. But until then, I'm not going to say, oh, she looks like Nidalee. S tier, bro. Princess Mononoke S tier. Oh, put her in the A tier. She thick. Right in the S tier. There's a specific review I was looking at. Here. Wait, no. Where is it? Forget the tier list. I agree. Anyways, there was a comment. Maybe I already passed it. It's saying that she is overrated right there. Everyone says get Tala, which I wouldn't know. I don't watch other YouTubers. I don't about video games and stuff. She's overrated in my opinion, and Examina is better. So I thought about that and I was like, how could Examina be better than what Tala has to offer? And people seem to agree with this, and you can tell by the upvotes. So if we go look at Examina real quick, we know that Tala brings us single target nuke, single target immobilization, AoE crit buff, and AoE immobilization up to 3. Once you skill her up, she gets like multiple character immobilizations. So I was like, okay, so what does she do? She does a single target stun. That's great for her. She gains self buff that inflicts penetration damage. That's amazing. Once she gets 3 stacks, penetration damage increases her own crit rate. Penetration damage increases her own attack bar, increases her own movement range, increases her attack speed. So she's a self-buffing nuke. how does that make her replace Tala? In what way does she benefit your entire team? That's like comparing apples to a chicken pot pie. It's like Tala is good for minimizing the amount of stats you need to put on a unit. If I want to build up a unit to crit 100% of the time, I have to have 30 of my substats put into that 70 to bring it 100. So if I bring Tala, that's 30 less crit rate that could go into a different stat. That could go into attack and make that character do damage. And that is not only for one other character. It's not only just for her. It's for the entire team. Now, I'm not saying either one is better. They're both better at different things. All I'm saying is these reviews are dog shit. Do not look at these reviews. They're absolutely terrible. Look at Econ's reviews. There's someone, I saw this, specifically trying to stop people from getting this character. Never really tried other gym hero, but this hero is so good, I'll rate it low so people will not use. So you have someone being deliberately deceitful, just trying to get people not to use him because he thinks he's so good that he doesn't want anyone else to use him. He wants to be the only one to use him. Do not trust other people when it comes to this game. Just don't do it. You have to trust your own judgment. You have to do your own equations. You have to have your own experiences. Everyone has a different experience. Every character is good for something. Every character sucks for something. Some characters are going to be better for certain things than others, and it's not a big deal. So just put the team together for your goal. If your goal is arena, try and think about how are you going to beat other people in arena. You probably want to take the first turn so that you could control the battlefield. How are you going to do that? You probably want to make it to where your guys don't die, instantly. How are you going to do that? And work towards that goal. But don't just say, YouTuber XYZ says fucking you got to get these 5 guys because they're all S tier. Shit them all on a team together and just press auto, and then you're all automatically the best in the game. That's not how it works. The game hasn't been out long enough for everybody to be an expert on it. Make your own decisions. Live your own life. Do not trust these reviews, and especially do not trust tier lists right now. That was a big one that I wanted to bring up. Now, on top of that, next subject. With games like this, you kind of want to rush the story, and I'll explain why. So, say you're starting out in normal and you're doing this, what are you farming? You're farming a little bit of gold, 1-star armors, like a few hundred experience, but you could sit there and farm that for an hour and a half, or you could just continue through the story until you reach a block. Say you stop being able to beat the story on 8. So sit there and do it on auto repeat for a few times until you get some new levels, get some more gold to upgrade your runes, and then press on. You do not want to be stuck in the story for too long, because as you get farther, you start getting like actually 100,000 experience per run. And I'm not kidding. You will get a crazy amount of rewards for 7 energy. And doing this, once you have this on farm, you can basically be obtaining up to, say if everyone's leveling, 500,000 experience a run. You could be getting tens of thousands of gold, every other. It's just way more efficient for your time. It's going to help you progress faster. No one wants to be sitting on the same stage for like 3 days. That's not any fun. So in order for you to progress as fast as possible, you want to get as far as possible and then farm the hardest thing you can do, basically. Now, whenever you get to a point where you're reaching a dead stop, a good thing to farm is going to be these trace specimens. They're like the dungeons on Summoner's War, like the dragons and giants. So basically, if you want to farm her, I haven't really progressed too far, but once you get to 7, 5-star runes. 5-star runes are the biggest star rune you can get in this game. It doesn't go up to 6-star. So if you get 5-star legendary runes, that's potentially one of the best runes you can get. So whenever you get to be able to do floor 7 on these stages, sit there and do it. If you want to sit around and farm for an hour or a day or 2 days, do it here. This is where you should do it, because this is where you're going to get the runes that are going to benefit you for the rest of your time. Now, as for runes as well, don't power up anything below 4-star past 12. That being said, if you get a 5-star, It doesn't matter if it's a flat stat or anything. It's completely okay to power it up to 15 because every stat matters. And anyone that's ever played a game like this knows that whenever you are in an arena or you're in a boss fight and that boss hits you and you die instantly, one shot, maybe 13 more defense would have saved you that turn and you could have recovered and had a whole new cycle of turns that you could have done before you died. Or if you're in the arena, you know, maybe you do get that, you hit somebody and they live with like 2 health. Maybe if you had that plus 15 for that little bit of attack, you would have ended that and you wouldn't have lost. You wouldn't have lost rating. You wouldn't have lost rank. And all that is just a problem. So stats are the epitome of the game. If you want to do something, it's not like you could just run in with a level 1 and end everything. Obviously, you have to build up your characters. That includes doing everything you can to make their stats as high as possible, which putting runes at plus 15 is kind of a big deal in that. And it's not hard to get gold in this game. I don't know why anyone would ever have trouble getting gold in this game. Look at the energy. It is 40 diamonds for 80 energy. Like, I got 2,000 stacked up. I don't even care. I could get another 1,500 right now just for 700 gold. Like, that's not even enough for a times 10 or 700 diamonds. That's not even enough for a times 10 card summon. So don't worry about, like, having your energy too stacked, or you're not wasting it. The only thing you would be wasting is time. If you, like, had to sit there and refresh every single time you went to go do another times 10, that's wasting your time. So stacking up your energy is not wasting your time. Another thing you want to look at is this special equipment I have here in the story. Well, first, let's look at a mercenary, okay? So basically, whenever you get their exclusive equipment, they're going to get a whole set bonus. And, yeah, that's a little bit better. That'll get you a whole set bonus, and they can add extra properties and effects to your abilities. Like for Iron, I had to skill up this combo strikes because whenever you skill it up, it adds a defense break, which I needed for my team until I got Lion Chick. I'm brain farting on her name. What is it? Nadine. So this is another just complete upgrade in your skills, and that's, you know, pretty important because it adds another time to ignore the damage effect from this ability. So you get 3 times, you can just take 1,000,000 damage and it does 0. So just because you got this legendary equipment, you can now get hit 4 times for 1,000,000 damage and it does 0. And a good way to get those right now, it's only 500 gold, is, which one is it? One of these. I know there's 1,000,000 of them, you greedy bastards. You want me to spend $1,000 on this game? And you want me to do it monthly. They have monthly subscriptions. Why can't I find this now? Right here. Exclusive equipment pack. For 500 diamonds, you have a chance to get an exclusive equipment for any of these characters listed, as well as you can refresh it. And it gets more expensive the more you refresh it daily, but it starts out 1,000, you know, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. You can have 5 guys on your lineup at one time. So, say if I wanted, you know, Robert, and what's your name, Lucas, Popo, all these guys were on my team, and I'm sitting here without any equipment for all of them. 500 diamonds is probably going to net me a special equipment for one of them, and it's going to greatly help, you know, their stats, abilities, progression, and it's just going to make everything a whole lot easier. So look into doing that, as well as these materials like the diamonds. They're finite. Okay, I mean, technically they're infinite because of dailies and stuff, but the easy gems, I have 10,000 gems stacked up like it was nothing, that does not last forever. Whenever you complete a new area, you can get 100 gold. Whenever you do, like, power up new cards up to max, you can get 100 gold. They just throw you 100 gold. Here's 100 gold. Here's 100 gold. Here's 100 gold. But the thing is, every time they do that, that is the only time they do that for that instance. So if you clear, you know, floor 7 of a dungeon, they give you 100 gold. Okay, well, now if I cleared all 10 floors, they just gave me 1,000 gold for that. So if I spend that 1,000 gold on a champion and it turns out it's not a champion I wanted in my team or wanted to use at all, really, it's kind of a waste of 1,000 gold, and I can't just go back and get it again. So the gold that they give you, or I keep saying gold, is diamonds. The diamonds they give you, they're going to give you a lot of them, and it's going to feel like you have a shit ton. But in reality, it's enough to build one team. So that's why I keep stressing you got to build your team and, like, really rack your brain, try to figure out the units you want, try to figure out a strategy you want, because your team is you. Like, who you choose to use, who you choose to build, it's not that easy to just say, meh, I don't really like this character I built up. I'm going to swap him out with this character now. Because you have all of these finite resources. I'm going to call it soft finite because it's infinite resources, but it gets to a hard cap where it's just becomes more difficult. So you have all these soft finite resources that you dumped into that character. All of a sudden, all those soft finite resources are gone because you decided you don't want to use that character in their composition anymore. So it's especially important. I keep saying it over and over. I sound like a broken record, but you really need to figure out your team, right? You got to figure that out before you do anything. So what have we talked about? The reviews are trash, scouting your team, rushing the story. We talked about how hero cards upgrade your abilities. Your upgraded abilities gain bonus, bonus things. So where do you get these upgraded abilities? Since I'm already in the shop, this is where you get them. Go to item shop. It's going to take me a minute because there's like a million. This token shop right here. This refreshes monthly. And since the game just came out, the refresh time is going to be in a few days. Ssr Selective Ticket. If you're having trouble getting an SSR ticket for a champion or a mercenary that you're trying to use, this is where you get it. You buy this and you have, what's the word? You have the choice, right? You get to pick the one you want. So you grab the champion you want, and then you can use this promotion card to skill up an ability and try to get, their ability stronger or better or more added effects. These cards are really what play a huge role in your character being so good. Now, these ones, like the draw tickets, that's a big gamble to me because these SSR tokens are not easy to get. Like as much of them as you need to do all of this every month, that's kind of a hard get. So I would definitely focus on the SSR Selective and the SSR Promotion. As well in the point shop, I'm pretty sure. That's a gamble to me too. I'm not so sure if I would go for this one because it's SR or SSR. So what? You spend 60 tokens. You probably get an SR. Say you do get an SSR and it's not even someone you really wanted. So then you turn it back in and then you can get a token for the other shop that maybe a more guaranteed one. But down here you can get another promotion card, so you're looking at another promotion, and like this refreshes. It's not something that's just like one and done. It's something you buy one and then you have to wait a while to get another one, but it's not just going away forever or anything. So whenever you're looking at like your bonus added effects and bonus added abilities, definitely look at what they upgrade into because that is not impossible to get. And that's just, that's the way it is. If you want to upgrade your dudes, you want to make them as good as possible. That's a very big part of doing it. The mats are easy, man. Like, if you really need to get gold, you could just go out here and do times 10, and I promise you it's not going to take long. You get 10,000 gold every run in this, so times 10, you're looking at 100,000 gold for just doing a times 10. Or maybe I just did that backwards. You know what? I'm going to stick with it. I already said it. 10,000 gold, 100,000 gold times 10. It's not that big of a deal just to do that every now and then. So the other thing, and this is going to be a little bit ironic, don't trust YouTubers. Now, what I'm telling you is completely objective. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to. What I'm giving you is advice. I'm not telling you, yo, drop 26 bucks and buy Trevor because he's super good single target nuke. He's going to carry you through the whole game. Oh, you have to buy fucking, whoever. You have to do this. This is my tier list. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is the time for you to sit back, hold on to your resources because they're not going anywhere. If you have them in your inventory, they're not just going to jump out of it. And figure out who you want to use. Test a couple guys, use them in the simulator. Try and fight arenas that have the guys you want to use to see how they work in the arena. Stuff like that. So you don't end up wasting something that ends up taking you time for you to get. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to do it for me. That's my general consensus on Heroes War so far. I'm just trying to share my experiences with you guys and give you a little bit of what to do and what not to do. Try and save you some time and some resources in the long run. But go ahead and, tell me in the comments what you think of the game. If you need help building a team or whatever, I'm around. I'll help you out. Just hit me up. We can have a conversation. But other than that, have a good day. I'll see you later.